So this year I wanted to try something a little bit different. And what I did is I decided to use the BTPS exam accounts that we have set up. And what I did is I did this with my social studies final exam. So I created a document, or sorry, a folder in Google Drive titled Final Exams. And I actually have it now listed as 2015 Student Social Studies Exam. So for this particular exam, what I did is I created all of my questions on a Google form. So you'll notice here that I have everything listed here for the document. So one of the very first important questions here is name. And so I have a spot for them to put their name. First one is Part 1 Family History. I notice that when it comes to the question title, I've titled them as Question 1, and Question 2, Question 3, and then the actual question is actually filled into the help text. And looking at the way I've numbered this, these become very important because what I've done is I've actually found an add-on that is very helpful when doing exams. And so I've added on form publishers. And so when you go and you open up the form publisher and you have it set up, so you click the setup, it asks you where's your template. So this is my template document here that I've gotten the information from. And that template is very important because this is where you're going to have all of your answers recorded on. So with this particular publisher add-on, it will automatically create the answers that you have selected from or specified from the form will automatically go into these documents. You'll notice though that I've got some funny language here, a specific coding that they want set up so that those answers will go into that form or into that document in those exact locations. So you'll notice the way I have the name, question 1, question 2, question 3, and then the next one is tasks. So what happens is it will automatically fill in a brand new document with the answers from each individual student onto their own Google document. Once you've figured out your template that you're going to use and you have it from your Google Drive, you then have your output document name. So I've just named mine Final Exam. And then what happens is it will come up with Final Exam 1, Final Exam 2, and 3, and so on, depending on who finishes the exam first and submits it. I can also select my destination folder. So I've selected student exams. When I go back into my Google Drive, that's this folder here that I've created. So now I've completely removed it from going into the super exam or exam super folder, which has been created by BTPS, and now it just comes directly to my own drive. This alleviates some of the process of having to drag things back and forth between your drive. So when I click on my student's exam, since this exam has already been finished, and I have my marking and whatnot in here, I have saved a copy of all of the exams as well, because this is important when you need to go back and review some of the exams with students or for later on. So what I've done is I created a folder marked and just drug them in there as each exam was finished and marked. So one thing that you need to make sure of having done correctly is your variables here for your template. So those are those locations inside your document that will be created from the template where your students' answers will automatically be populated and go to. So what I have done now is I've just made a little change to this to show you how it can determine if there's something wrong here. So you'll notice here I've got name has an X beside it. So that means that this variable is not replicating onto the final exam as it is supposed to. So when I go into the final exam, I'll just scroll up to the top again, I see I've got my underscore, hashtag name, period, hashtag underscore. Well, that looks good to me. When I go back here, I go back to see what is in between those hashtags. Oh, I see what I've done. I have forgotten the E. So now I'm going to click on done, and then I'm going to click on refresh. When I see refresh, it is checkmarked, so it should be okay. Now, just to kind of give you a test run on what happens, I'm going to go to View Live Form here, and I'm going to begin my answers here So I'm down to the last question, and I'm pasting my ABC in here just to give me a little bit of an idea. I hit submit, and it says that it has been recorded. So now when I go into the student exam folder, I should be able to go in here and notice that it has popped up. This happens to be the exam here that I completed. When I double click on it, there's my answer. So I put test as the question, as the name on here, and then ABC, 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 and so on the whole way through. Now, and it automatically went to my student exams folder that I had specified it to go to previously. So just because I've decided to use the add-on for the form publisher, it doesn't mean that I've lost all of my answers in a Google Sheet that would normally pop up because I've created a form. So when I go into this, I still have all of that information in there as well. So you really do not have to keep all of those final exams because you do have your answers in here. But for those of you that did want to keep a final exam copy of what you have marked, and then you can also use those documents to create information on it and comment for future reference, you still are able to do that as well.